at Simeon, you had won 3 city championships and 2 state championships. How did you feel in that moment? What was going through your head?
Yeah, so not only winning my 3 city championships as a player and two state championships as a player, I've also won a state championship as a coach and 4 city championships as a coach. So all of those things feel great to me, not only because it's the winning aspect of it, but also because I'm able to represent Simeon. Simeon means so much to me. So.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Crystal B Talks. I'm your host, Crystal Bradley, and today we have a very special guest. He has been a community activist, a mentor to many young people in the city of Chicago, and a Chicago public school leading basketball coach in the state of Illinois. Also, he has received the torch to take on the responsibility of a legendary school basketball program, which have developed many stars and some to go to the NBA, like Derrick Rose to the Chicago Bulls and Jabari Parker to the Milwaukee Bucks. The name of this school is Simeon Career Academy. This person also have shown leadership and never giving up and rising to the top. Now let's welcome Tim Flowers. Hey.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Now let's get into it. So your tenure at Simeon, you had won 3 city championships and 2 state championships. How did you feel in that moment? What was going through your head?
Yeah, so not only winning my 3 city championships as a player and two state championships as a player, I've also won a state championship as a coach and 4 city championships as a coach.
Okay.
So all of those things feel great to me, not only because it's the winning aspect of it, but also because I'm able to represent Simeon. Simeon means so much to me. So anytime I'm able to represent them and we're able to have success because of that, that always feels great.
Awesome. Was Simeon your first choice in high school to play?
It wasn't. So at the time, me and Derrick played together at Randolph, 6th grade, and then we went to Beasley for 7th, 8th grade, and we were being recruited by all the schools in the city of Chicago. And then it was just big for us because a lot of our friends went to Simeon already. And then once we were able to get there and learn about the legacy of Simeon, the legacy of Ben Wilson and everything Bob Hambrick did, it just felt like the perfect place for us. It felt like the perfect place, and we ended up being at Simeon.
Awesome. Now, how was it growing up with Derrick Rose? I remember you said he'd been a childhood friend since 2nd grade.
Yeah. So we both grew up in the same area in West Inglewood. He initially grew up on 73rd and Polana. I was on 72nd and Marshfield. Then once we got to 7th grade, he moved on to Marshfield, a couple houses down from me. So we were together all the time. We grew up together, playing at Murray Park, playing at Randolph, playing at Beasley, and then also with the AAU teams that we played for at the time. But it was just a great thing for me, right, to be able to see somebody who was just a friend, who had dreams and goals and aspirations, to see him actually be able to chase those things and make them realities. Like, that's the huge part for me, and I think that's what ultimately led me to coaching too, is because I want to be able to give back what he has given to so many people, and that's just hope. Yeah.
Hope?
Yeah, hope. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Now, since you became the head coach at Simeon, what is your game plan to help Simeon continue the legacy?
I mean, it's just showing up every day. When I look back at Coach Hambrick, I look back at everything Coach Rob did, it was just their consistency, who they were every day, what they demanded from you every day, the level of accountability they held you to every day. And then I look at myself as somebody that grew up in such a crazy situation. My mom had me at 14. My father was killed at a very young age when I was in 6th grade, so I didn't have any male mentors for real, besides coaches. So when I came to Simeon and Coach Rob and Coach Hambrick, Coach Chick and all those people, you know, they filled the void for me. They filled that void for me. So it just feels good to be in this position, to be able to lead, to be able to work with people that I care about and love. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Awesome. Now, you also gave back by taking 17 boys from Simeon to Africa. How was that experience?
It was great. So it was not a Simeon trip.
Okay.
It was a Derrick Rose trip with Joakim Noah because of some philanthropy work that they were doing. Derrick initially called me and was like, man, I want to take, my kids and your kids, we want to go to Africa. And the more and more we spoke, it was like, man, if we're gonna go, why not take some kids? Why not give this opportunity to some young guys? And we settled on using kids from Simeon because, I mean, obviously in the short notice I had my hands on them, but then also it was a criteria, right? Like you had to have certain behavior criteria, you had a certain GPA, you had to have certain grades.
That's true.
Your parents and people had to sign off and make sure that you deserved the opportunity. And they went there for 7 days, and they were there for 7 days and didn't have to pay anything.
Oh.
Yeah, everything was completely free, even down to the shots that they had to take to go. Derrick paid for everything, so that was also a blessing, right, for him to do what he did for them.
Yeah, that's also nice. What is your advice to like any young person that's experienced like hardship?
Only because of my story is I speak a lot, especially through social media. I always give praise to God. Because I believe that you don't do your work for yourself, you do it for God, and you get blessed because of it. So for me, I always tell my young guys, if you have a goal, a dream, or something that you want to do, make sure that you keep God at the foundation of that. Make sure that you go every day and you pray, and make sure that you locked in on what it is that you're trying to accomplish and not being distracted by the outside world. I look at myself, for an example, I always tell my players, when I didn't have God in my life, I was unhappy.
Really?
I was unhappy, and I had everything, right? Like I had money, I had cars, I was traveling all over the world. This is at the height of Derrick being successful and me working for him, but I was internally unhappy. So once I had my 2 children, and then like I said, I opened my life to God and I started praying more and reading more. Like I am who you see in front of you today because of that.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
That's inspiring. Now, what is your advice different for somebody that's, trying to see if they can achieve success in a different way too?
I mean, I think that's a foundational thing, right? I don't believe that my relationship with God has to be the same as the next person's. Whatever your belief is, whatever your foundations are, like stand true to those things. That's what I get from that. What God tell me, how he tell me to maneuver, how he tell me to treat people. Like I just try to stand to that. And that's what works for me. So my advice to anybody is to always just chase your goals, chase your dreams, but make sure you have some foundational things that's gonna support you when times get hard. You as somebody that's doing everything that you're doing, also having a podcast, we have bad days, right? We run into some trials and tribulations, and if you don't have foundational things that can hold you together, you fall apart.
You do.
So for me, that glue is my relationship with God.
That's your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Do you have like any other like mentors that still help guide you?
Yes, Coach Jesse Chick, who you came
okay,
to Simeon, you saw Coach Jesse Chick. I'm 36 years old. That's somebody I met at 11, and he's literally been the same person every day since I've met him. Coach Chick is very near and dear to my heart. I have Harvey Hampton, who was one of my coaches when I was young and also one of my best friend's fathers. Just lost somebody close to me a couple months ago, and Derrick Koenig, who was one of my other best friend's fathers. So even though I didn't have my own, I had a bunch of people that stepped up, and those are still currently my mentors. Lou Tops, who was the AAU coach that came and found me in Derrick.
Really?
Probably ain't no Tim Flowers and Derrick Rose if you don't have Lou the Top. So those people are still in my life. They still in my life.
Do you feel like community is a big thing that is like necessary, like to have like people cheer you on, give you advice, like community?
Yeah, because it's paying it back, right? Like I can only look at, I always tell my players, like I can only go off what I know worked and happened with me. And for me, when I look at community, they wrap their arms around me. Whether it was in Inglewood, whether it was at Simeon, I had a bunch of people wrap their arms around me. And even though I fought against it sometimes, I wasn't perfect, I'm not, nobody is, but even when I made some bad decisions, that village of people, that community of people, they never turned their back on me. So find you some good people that's gonna support you, that's gonna push you, that's gonna motivate you. Even when you make mistakes, you want some people that's gonna pick you up and pull you through anything that you're going through. Again, for me, I look at that and be like, man, that's that God relationship. But even outside of that, them the people that's around you. Them the people that's around you.
That's true. Absolutely. So what else are you doing like in a community? Because I know you was like an advocacy for like gun violence. So like, are you still active doing that? Like community? Okay,
yes. So the foundation of me coaching, just try to do the best that you can in everything that you do, right? You treat the janitor like you treat the CEO. Everything got to be the same.
Oh, that is a great gem right there. That's a great gem. Now, you said you have worked for Derrick Rose. So like, in what position did you work for him?
So I worked for him from day one of his NBA journey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was, so we got, it's 8 of us, but it's really 5 of us for real. That's Randall Hampton, Brian Orange, Ryan Allen, Derrick Rose, and then myself. We all grew up together from 6th grade playing together. So what I did was like, initially I was just
That's a real brotherhood.
real brotherhood though. Like still to this day, like we still are very much involved in each other's lives. Our children are involved in each other's lives. But my role with him was just one, making sure that he was straight. I've always been naturally a protector. Like that's just who I am. So in any situation, I always wanted to make sure he was straight because I knew him, and my job was to make sure that. But then also, anytime anybody wanted to do any promotional stuff with him, they had to reach out to me and my homie Randall to set that up. So it was kind of like whatever he needed from me. Like I got you. Like I got you. He changed a lot of people's lives when he got drafted. So you know, I can never financially pay him back for what he did, but it's like I can make sure you're straight. I can protect you. I can tell you when you're wrong. I can be that voice of reason when you need it. I can, you know, all of those things. It's like whatever you need from me, bro, I got you.
Yes, and in certain circumstances, like service of act is sometimes better than like monumental things. So that is a good point that you pointed out. What are you looking forward to this upcoming season since basketball started?
So today was our first game, like I told you. My sophomores won and my freshman team won. They beat Cremoni today. So the thing that I am excited about this year, in my second year as the head of the program, is that we made a major change. Simeon has been sponsored by Nike for 40 years. And this is something that means nothing. Like, I'm going to say this on your podcast and hope that people see this. I care about kids. I care about community. I say that all that to say, we made a huge change by leaving Nike and we signed with Derrick Rose and Adidas. This is the first time that Simeon has ever been sponsored by anybody other than Nike. This is us bringing Derrick Rose home, deservingly so. We've never had an athlete be able to do some of the things that he has done. So I think it was only right. I felt like it was only right that when we had the opportunity to go and give him his flowers, that's what we're doing. Bro, we want to rep what you've done. We want to rep. Right now, our uniforms all have his logo on there. And for me, that's always like a point of reference for our boys. When they're not working hard, they're not giving hard. Look at that patch that's on you. Right, like you all want to be the next guy. You all want to go to the NBA. What did Derrick Rose do to get to where you all are? Who did he have to become in the midst of all the stress and stuff we came through? Like, who do he have to become? So it's a major thing for me to be able to bring Adidas into our building and to have that support moving forward. Nike decided that they wanted to drop us after all this time. And Adidas and Derrick was like, man, whatever y'all need for the program, bro, we here. So yeah, that's what I'm excited about is now Simeon being an Adidas school. Yes, it's amazing.
And you say it just happened?
So this happened in August.
Oh, wow.
August, boys and girls. And what I'm more excited about right now, the boys and girls have been sponsored by him, uniform, shoes, jogging suits, book bags, all of the things that you need.
Amazing.
The thing that I love is right now he's trying to figure out in retirement, what else can I do to help the school? How can I help? What can I do? How can I be of service? And like I said, boys and girls, we've had conversations about trying to sponsor every sports team in the building. So it's like, Simeon trying to do some big things. Like, we doing it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I used to do track, so if that happened with track, that'd be great.
Yeah, Coach Paul is doing some amazing things. We got some great young women doing some great things. Young lady Mariah right now is placed in the state the last couple of years. So we doing big things. Simeon's still going. We still going.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Any other new information that I didn't know about Simeon that's going on?
Right now?
Yes, right now.
Right now, what's going on at Simeon is we don't know all of the information just yet, but we are actually working on trying to do an event to recognize Derrick in January, right before they do something with the Chicago Bulls. But then also next month on December 2nd. Most people don't know, 40 years ago, Ben Wilson was killed in front of Simeon. Ben Wilson had just got ranked as the #1 player in the country. They had came over in the state championship. He was everything. Everybody thought he was going to be the next guy. He was unfortunately and untimely killed in front of our building. That was 40 years ago. And we look at how the legacy of his death has still been a part of our program 40 years later. Look at his death. We've turned, and I hate to say it in that term, but it's the truth. He died in 1984. And after that, we sent so many guys to the NBA. We sent so many guys to college. We changed so many lives of so many young black men on the south side of Chicago. And for me, I look at it and I say that Derrick Rose did everything that Ben Wilson should have done. MVP, big contracts, changed the game. Ben Wilson was on his way to do that. So saying that to say, December 2nd, we're having a game at Simeon against Bowen High School at 5 o'clock. And in that day, we're going to honor Ben Wilson and Derrick Rose. but we are also honoring all guys who played at Simeon over this 40-year stretch, because at the end of the day, that program was not built just on the backs of a few. It was built by many. So we want to make sure that everybody get the opportunity to be recognized. So December 2nd at Simeon against Bowen High School, we got the Derrick Rose, Ben Wilson night.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars, guys.
Yes.
Be there and
Yes.
support.
Yes.
Now, how others can help support Simeon as well, just like as just regular average individuals? How can they support?
Yeah, so I mean, by us having a high school program, all of our funds and everything is collected through the school, and that goes to our basketball account. For the past, and don't get me wrong, like I'm gonna talk about Derrick a lot because that's somebody that I really admire and I honor him, right? Like I really do, and not just because of the basketball stuff, but because of who he is as a human. And I'm gonna talk about him a lot because there's so many things that he has done for me as a coach and for young people that he don't talk about. And I wouldn't talk about, but right here, you invited me here. This is the perfect platform to be able to give him his just due for what he's doing for these young people on the South Side, because he don't have to.
Yeah, that's true. I appreciate you sharing the story right here on the podcast. Like that means so much to me. That means a lot, actually. Is there a special message you would like to share to give to the athletes?
Yes. So one of the things that I am a huge advocate for is mental health. And I work with young people, and you see how on a day-to-day they're being attacked mentally in a lot of ways. So my message today to any young man out there that might be dealing with something, going through something, questioning something, seek help, find help. Don't be afraid to go ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help. So many times us kind of run away and think that we're supposed to be able to handle everything because we taught at a young age to be strong and to be fierce and to be the fighters. But it's okay for us to be weak too. And not necessarily weak in the sense of like letting people run us over anything, but it's okay for us to be vulnerable. It's okay for us to say we're in pain, we hurt, and we need help. So again, in this situation, sitting down here with Miss Crystal, for any of my young people out there that might see this, don't be afraid to go ask for help. Don't be afraid to want to be better. So again, if you got resources, if you need resources, please reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at 10flowers33 at Gmail. I mean 10flowers33. You can find me. I'm sorry, I'm getting the whole Gmail out. But you can find me on Instagram at 10flowers33, and I'm always that person, man, that's willing to listen to hear anybody because somebody did that for me. So again, anybody that's out there, if you need help, don't be afraid to ask.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
So are you developing future stars like yourself?
Yes, I believe I am.
Yes.
I believe that I am.
Yeah, you was a good player.
I mean, yes. I don't like toot my horn. I know that I was, right? But I would say that I am trying to develop them only because, like, I've been blessed to be around this so much at such a high level.
Yeah.
And I don't have all the answers, but at the same time, like, I got a little bit of knowledge that I can pass on. So I got young men right now who are, like, highly talented guys. And, small details, punctuality. Making sure that you never know who in the crowd watching you. So you want to make sure you're on your best behavior and the best that you possibly can at all times, because there may be somebody out there that can change your life.
That's true.
Again, going back to what I said earlier about taking care of the small detail things, again, accountability, all those things. So I'm trying to use that message of what was given to me that helped me prepare to be the coach that I am, that helped Derrick become an NBA. I coached Jabari at Simeon, I coached Taylor, Kendrick Nunn, I coached all those guys at Simeon. So being able to give them everything that I've learned, being next to those guys on them journeys, and hope that it resonates with a few of them. I don't like that saying where they be like, man, if you get one. No. My goal is to try to get as many as I can.
Absolutely.
And all of them not going to make it to the NBA, but we might be able to have some people that can be bankers or somebody that might be working like yourself. So, for you to get there, anybody get to where they get, where they got, it's certain things that you got to be able to do. Certain way that you got to be able to carry yourself. So that's what my hope is. Get that message, get that information back. It resonates with them, and they take it onto their life towards being whatever they want to be and be great at it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you see anybody on the current team that kind of remind you of yourself?
Not me.
Oh, okay.
Not me. And the reason why I say not me, because I was like such a hothead.
Oh, really?
I was such a hothead. And I was like the super protector. You couldn't mess with my friends and teammates.
Okay.
But what I do see that we have now is I see images of other players and guys. So I see some guys Julian Dore reminds me a lot of Taylor Horton Tucker. just because he's quiet, he's working, he's doing what everybody else ain't doing.
Okay.
I look at somebody like Lorenzo Shields. He has the Derrick Rose fire of just wanting to be great. And then we have guys like Andre Tyler and Cassidy Nelson and Kamari and Hamlin. These kids that you just see and be like, man, you could easily be Kendrick. You could easily be Steve Taylor, or you could be the next Jelani Neely. So again, I'm not always looking at them seeing myself. I'm seeing all of the greatness that has come out of Simeon boys basketball program. And I'm trying to tell kids, like, man, you can be Lazarick Jones. Lazarick Jones was somebody that played at Simeon. He didn't start for 4 years.
What?
He didn't start. You know, that's like a big thing with kids is I want to be the starter. I want to be the court.
That is true, yep.
All that. This kid didn't do this for 4 years, but he ended up going to a junior college, became the #1 player in the country.
Oh.
And he went to UCLA, and that's arguably the biggest scholarship that we've ever given to a student athlete out of Simeon, just based on UCLA's history. I mean, you going with Jabari and Duke and him in UCLA. So I'm always looking for kids to say, man, it's other guys that y'all may not know about that have some success, that's doing a great thing, that's low key. Just the city don't talk about them, the media don't talk about them. But I'm a Simeon alum and I'm one of the greats and I know the other great ones. So I can pass that information on and say, man, I see this guy in you. So that's my message to all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's conclude this episode. I hope everybody learned something from this podcast or learned something from the conversation. If you have any way of giving back or sharing, the school collect money, so just please reach out to Simeon Career Academy. And I hope you take something away from this conversation. Be perseverance, never give up, and continue to fight for what you believe in. I hope everybody have a wonderful day, and thank you for subscribing and watching Chris B Talks podcast. Bye.
Thank you.